Okay, here we are. It's Sunday morning again, and it's one of the hottest mornings of the summer, and probably one of the hottest mornings ever. I think it's something like 36 today, and then it's going up to 41 on Tuesday. 41 degrees, and in the north of England. I mean, it's just mad. Anyway, today, 36. I mean, what time is it now? It's about 8:30 in the morning. I'd say it's about 22, 23 degrees already, probably more than that, especially in the sun. It's absolutely blazing, so it's mad. But hey, might as well make the most of it. So, we're going out for a ride on the T160, 1975 Triumph Trident T160. It's the last sort of iteration of the Trident model. So, you can tell it's a T160. It's actually got over 200 modifications from the earlier T150s. Main things to note are that the engine is the cylinders are canted forward. It was the Rocket 3s. The BSA Rocket 3s always had their cylinders canted forwards, and so for the T160 Triumph finally went with it. I think basically they sort of tried to justify it by making room for the starter and this, that, and the other. But you can actually fit a starter without moving the cylinders. Basically, it just looks a lot better. It's like any styling thing, like any styling change, they'll always try and justify it by saying, "Oh, we needed it for that," but really, it just looks better. So there's that. Also, of course, there's electric start, which actually works if it's well maintained. Unlike the Commander and that you don't need to upgrade the starter. You can, and I'm not sure that new ones are available. So if that one goes, then you might as well upgrade it to a more modern one. But if they're working, then they work okay. They work fine. And then, of course, the other thing to note is that we're left-hand gear change, right-hand brake. So they had to modify the gearbox, so there's like this blanking plug there, and that is where the cross shaft, as it's called, goes across, and to enable the gear change to be on the left, even though the gearbox is still on the right. Because of course I had to make all these changes, but basically it's the same engine. So other things they did, they also fitted a neutral indicator switch. Wow. Because this bike was so sort of outdated that it didn't even have a neutral indicator switch. So again, they had to sort of bodge it slightly. The engine wasn't designed to take a neutral indicator switch. The engine wasn't designed to take left foot gear change. So all these things had to be accommodated, and they're okay. But they don't. There's always a problem with a neutral indicator switch because it's an afterthought. Anyway, and apart from that, obviously the styling is beautiful. They did again make it look like it was a 4-cylinder bike, because when this came out in 75, everyone was talking 4-cylinder bikes. Sorry, just saying hello to one of my neighbours over there. Yeah, so sorry, they split the pipes on the central cylinder, and to make it look like it's actually a 4-cylinder bike, because it was the what do they call it, the standard Japanese, or the Japanese engine, whatever it's called, the standard Japanese engine was always 4 cylinders, so only having 3. So what they did was they tried to make it look like it had 4 cylinders. There you go. I mean, again, they'll probably justify it as saying, "Oh, it's better flow with a split," but rubbish. It's just make it look like it's got 4 cylinders. Apart from that, things I've done to it, I've put twin disc brakes on. They came with single disc brakes, but I've put twin discs on with drilled discs and Gramica calipers, so it's upgraded to twin disc. They did come with a rear disc as standard. I've just fitted again a drilled disc. I put alloy rims on. Okay. It should have a massive air filter like the 850 Commando. There were the noise regulations and emissions coming in, and a combination of noise regulations and emissions, they fitted massive air boxes to this and to the last Commando, the 850 Mark III Commando. So I've simply got rid of the airbox and fitted open bell mouths instead. Then it's got an instrument binnacle, hurrah, with indicator light. Hey, well, I mean neutral indicator light. Hey, whatever next? Hey, welcome to the 20th century in 1975. Other things I've done to it, yeah, they had this pesky neutral indicator switch. So I fitted an upgrade to the neutral indicator switch. So mine is what's called a proximity sensor. So it senses, rather than the switch being physically pushed in by the cam plate as it goes around, it senses when the cam plate is in the right place, and so it's not actually making contact. So that makes sure you get a smooth gear change, and also it doesn't leak oil, and it works. I've also fitted, got rid of the Xenon diodes. I mean, the Xenon diode's still there, but it's not connected. And the old rectifier, fitted a modern power box. Oh yeah, and I fitted a combined, ignition warning light and oil warning light. So that depending on how that flashes, it tells you whether there's low charge or whether there's low oil pressure or even overcharging. Because one thing about the Trident is, I think they missed a trick, because you know what kids want, what I wanted in those days was lots of idiot lights, lots of lights. And the one thing this does have is an oil pressure warning light, but what it doesn't have is a charging warning light. Now it's very difficult to fit an oil pressure warning light, but it's very easy to fit a low charge warning light. So I think what Triumph could have done was just add another warning light. You know, hey, we haven't got 4 warning lights, we've got 5. Low charge and oil pressure, you know, high beam indicator. Yeah, but they didn't. So, and that's actually a flaw, because I was riding this bike once, and it was going okay. Luckily, when I got home, I went to start it again, and the battery was completely flat. What's going on? Luckily, I got home by then, and sure enough, it wasn't charging. A wire had come loose, but I didn't know it wasn't charging, because there's nothing to tell you. There's no warning light, you know. So I now have changed the oil pressure warning light, and it's now combined oil pressure and low charge warning light. Basically, if it flashes slowly like that, you've got low charge on the battery, obviously, which it's doing now because it's not charging. And then, but if it flashes like really fast, it means you've got low oil pressure, which is obviously the one you want to worry about. And I think if it just comes on and stays on, I can't remember, it means the bike is actually overcharging. But that works really well, and with an LED bulb, so it's so much brighter than the others. Yeah, I think we're about there with that. But it's going really well. Doesn't leak oil. I think I've got a very, very slight weep somewhere, but generally it doesn't leak oil. And it's just a fantastic bike to ride. So, and the other thing is, to be honest, I've got various things on my mind at the moment. You know what I mean? I'm just not settled, not been sleeping too well and all that, you know. So I'm just going to get out on the bike. Best therapy in the world that I know of. It's early morning. It's coming up. It's probably about 8:45 by now. And we're just going to get out to Derbyshire. We're going to forget all our worries, and we're just going to ride the bike and just, you know, clear the head a bit, settle a bit. You know, when you got things on your mind and life's a bit down for whatever reason, you know, just get on the bike and go for a ride. Simple as that. Yeah, hokey coke. Yeah, all good. Don't think I've got anything much else to mention. Sure, there's other things I could mention. It's got these new carbs. These are Premier carbs. The advantages of Premier carb is that it's got the pilot jet's got a blanking plug on it, and the pilot jets are well known to block up on these carbs. And they're very difficult to clear out because you can't get into the pilot jet to clear them out. So these have got blanking plugs, which you can then take out if the pilot jet's blocked and give the pilot, clean it out, no problem. I mean, the best cure is never to let them block in the first place, but if they do block, you can clean them out. So, yeah, and they work really well. Okay, yeah, 5-speed gearbox. Wow, 5-speed gearbox. I've taken it off of mine, but, you know, Triumph were trying to sell things at the time. They actually had a big sticker on that said 5-speed. Hey, of course, by then all the Japanese bikes were 6-speed, but never mind. But, you know, they were trying to find anything to market it. You know, it's 5-speed, electric start. Looks like it's a 4-cylinder bike, and so on. they were trying to make catch up, and they failed basically because, you know, they came out for a year, and then the whole thing collapsed. MVT collapsed, Norton Williams Triumph, and the Trident was finished, and so was the Commando. The Bonville was saved because that was made at Meriden, and they had the sit-in and then the corporas, the workers' cooperative, whereas these engines were made at Small Heath, which is the BSA factory. All triple engines were made at Small Heath, and so when that shut, that's it, they went. And then the molds, etc., all the machinery for making these engines was smashed and or dismantled, sold, so they can never be redone. Of course, these days you can get engine parts in that cases because they can be computer machined. You can't get the crankshafts because there was an amazing machine at BSA Small Heath, which I still can't get my head around, but basically the crankshaft was sort of forged in one sort of line. Then there's this huge machine that grabbed the crankshaft and actually twisted it, you know, when it's red hot, to make it into a offset triple crankshaft. Where, you know, I still can't get my head around it, because if you look at a crankshaft now, it's all one piece, but it doesn't look like it's been twisted. But apparently that's what it was, this huge press thing that sort of squeezed and twisted and pressed the crankshaft into a triple, and that's all gone now. So you cannot get crankshafts. Well, I don't, as far as I know, they can't be remade in any way. But virtually all the parts are still available. You know, people are remaking just about every part is available for the bike now. Even the cases and that you can buy, because there are people starting to machine them, you know, from billet alloy. Not cheap, but you can get them. Right, anyway, enough of that. Let's go for a ride. Yeehaw. And here we are at Money Ash for our regular little coffee stop. Some nice bikes around, lots of people to chat to. I've been talking non-stop about the T160 since we got here. And I'm just looking forward to my bacon sarnie now, which should be fantabulous. Oh, it's a red hot day. Oh, and yeah, just I'm relaxed. I'm already relaxed a bit, so that's good. I might film a bit more in a minute, but oh, what's that going? It sounds like a Harley. Yeah, is that a Harley? It must be. Yeah. Wow, so there we are, back from the ride. Yeah, wow, that's by far the hottest ride I've ever had. You know, I've actually just got a polo shirt on and a leather jacket, and just my jeans on, and my padded jeans, and I'm actually hot. Now, I've never ever been hot on a bike before, not like that. You know, not going around town sitting, you know, lights and that, you get hot. But on the open road, you know, just riding, I was actually hot. You know, God knows what temperature it is. It was just really still, you know, really still. No, I don't know if you can see that because I'm mad about this. Look, this tree is going over. It's mid-July, and it's massively stressed. This horse chestnut, I don't know if you can see it. Probably not see it on the camera, so I'm not wasting time. But it's actually going over that. It's in massive distress. It's losing its leaves. You know, it's just mad, this. Whoops. There we go. Anyway, great ride. Bike going really well. The only slight thing I've got is I've got just on throttle. I've got a very slight misfire. You know, going from Tico. You know, just as you open the throttle, it just coughs a bit. And I think that may be to do with the pilot jets. Now, the thing is, I'm not sure if I've the right size to have. Now, these come standard with 17 pilot jets, and because I'm using open bell mouths, I've put 19 pilot jets in, which are bigger and to run richer. Now, when you're just opening the throttle, it's the size of the pilot jet that really counts, just as you open the throttle, and it hesitates a bit. Now, I've got a feeling that it's too lean, but of course it could be it's too rich. I'm not quite sure. So I've ordered some 21 pilot jets, which are massive. So I've got the original 17s, I've got the 19s that are in there now, and I will have the 21s. And basically, I'm going to experiment, and I'll put the 21s in. And if it actually makes it worse, then I'll put the 17s back in. And you know, because it's either run just too rich or just too lean, just off throttle on the pilot. So I'll experiment with that. What I could really do with is a rolling road, because that'll tell me whether it's too rich or too lean or whatever. But obviously I don't happen to have a rolling road, so can't do that. All neighbours are just coming home. So I'll probably stop there because they're coming in. But yeah, great ride. Lovely stopover at Money Ash, and great to have a chat with people. And yeah, all good, all very good. Just need to get that pilot jet Tico. Well, just as you open the throttle. But I'll probably post about that later on when I get it sorted.